game get away from them, and they have to trust the process. There's going to be some times where they might get a dry spell. They might not get some shots to fall, but they have to trust the offense and keep it going.
North Carolina Central in the gray uniforms get the opening tip for Lavelle Moten's squad. And we got a whistle immediately. We got a Brendan Medley-Bacon gets called for the foul. Let's look at the Delaware State starting foul. You're talking about Corey Perkins, what he's been able to do. Martez Robinson, Khyrie Staten, Cameron Stitt, and Brandon Stone. And watch for a young man by the name of Jevin Nunes, who comes off the bench and does a great job for the Hornets. The long jumper, and we're talking about burying that, was Khyrie Staten, the sophomore out of Baltimore, Maryland. Came in shooting 28% from three-point range, and he puts down the first points of the ball game, and it's 3-0 Delaware State. If you look at Justin Wright, Marquis Maltsby, the veteran, Eric Boone, Chris Monroe, and of course Brendan Medley-Bacon.
Delaware State been able to shut down the Eagles defensively on the first couple of possessions. They drew an off-ball foul against Brendan Medley-Bacon, and that's going to be key. This Eagle team, they work a lot better when Medley-Bacon is on the floor, and Delaware State's going to try to eliminate him from the game as much as they can.
This one goes down for Martez Robinson, sophomore out of Owens Mills, Maryland. Third team all-conference selection this year. 5-0 is our score. And we're going the other way. 3 and done for this Eagles team. You look a little disappointed here.
And as I was talking about in the...
But you can't be partial.
Of course not. Of course not. But as I was talking about...
I got to mess with you.
Yeah, as I was talking about in the keys to the game for the Eagles to trust the process, there've been numerous times where this team can run into some dry spells where just nothing is going their way offensively. And they just got to hang in there. Don't let the game get away. And again, the 6th time that these two teams have met in the last 2 seasons, familiarity breeds contempt. And if you see a team a lot, you start to know what they do, and you can get some advantages.
No question about it, as Medley-Bacon grabbed the rebound that time. Medley-Bacon looking over to Boone. Eric Boone will take the jumper, and it's good.
Yeah, Eric Boone, he's a pass-first point guard, all defensive member, but he can get going in a flash. He can put up 20 points in a hurry.
Boone out of Lexington, Kentucky, all season. Last season, all MEAC performer. Number 3 all MEAC this year. But again, on the other side is Khyrie Staten putting up points for the Hornets.
Yeah, DSU 3 for 4 from the floor. Strong start.
Delaware State, again, they started their season 1-1, lost 15 straight, then won 4 of their next 5. But against conference opponents, they have 3, 4, 5 games that they lost in single digits. And when you look at that, those are games you figure, hey, I could change my record around. Rather than being 4-10 in the conference, I could be 9-5.
And some of those games, you got to think, were at home inside Alumni Hall. That's a tough place to play. It's one of the smallest venues in the league. It's cramped. Those fans are right on top of you. It's hard to come out of a win from there.
Well, they beat Morgan State by 2 at home. They did lose to Howard in overtime at home by 1 point. Well, they lose to North Carolina Central at home by 8 as Medley-Bacon gets inside for 2. Seven to 5 our score. They lost to Coppin at home by 10, and they lost at home to Maryland Eastern Shore by 6. Like you said, a tough place to play. Off the glass, nice easy basket for Martez Robinson, the team's leading scorer. Came in averaging just under 12 points per contest, and it's a 4-point lead for the Hornets.
And Robinson and Staten together, they have all 9 points for DSU. They're proving to be tough to stop.
Medley Bacon's three goes in and out. Maltsby with the follow-up and the putback.
Marquis Maltsby, he's an energy guy. He can get this team going. And we'll look to see what he'll be able to do in this game. So right now, all the energy is in between Robinson and Staten for DSU.
Maltsby out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Started his career at New Hampshire before matriculating to Durham, North Carolina, and joining the...
I come out here today and show why they are capable of being here and looking forward to playing on Friday. Of course, who's their coach? Coach Moulton. He's been here multiple times and always finds a way to get his team ready for championship play.
This Delaware State team comes in on a 3-game losing streak. As you look at Coach Moulton, his team on a 7-game win streak. That's the way you want to come into a tournament.
And that 7-game win streak coming after the Eagles lost 3 in a row, including a game at home against Maryland Eastern Shore that stopped what was a lengthy winning streak for the Eagles. They lost 3 games in a row. They lost there. They went on the road. They lost at Howard. They lost at Norfolk State. And after that, they decided they weren't going to lose anymore and ripped off 7 in a row to play their way out of Thursday and into Wednesday.
Yeah, they beat Morgan, Coppin, Del State on the road. Maryland Eastern Shore on the road. Came home and beat Howard and won an overtime game against Norfolk State by 1 before closing out the season on the road in Orangeburg against South Carolina State with a 71-64 victory.
And that game that they won by 1 against Norfolk State, they were up by 29 points at one point in that game.
Yeah, I heard. Norfolk State came back and they escaped by the chair of the chin, right?
A win is a win, but was not as comfortable as they would have wanted.
Never.
The Eagles upset, thinking that should be their ball.
Our officials, Keith Bennett, Leon Sandiford, and Bruce Rothwell. And it's a turnover, and it's going to go back to North Carolina Central.
Yes. Friend of the program for North Carolina Central would say, hey, ball don't lie.
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace.
Long inbounds pass. It comes to Maltsby. Eric Boone leads the conference in steals. And he'll take the long 3. Front of the iron. No good, but the long rebound comes off to Justin Wright. Wright, the junior out of Greenville, North Carolina. Right inside. Short jumper. Misses it. Had the right idea, and here we go. At the other end, Staten missed it.
What a block by Eric Boone in defense.
Thought about it, changed his mind, and we got a foul away from the ball. Let's look at the block at the other end.
Hey, Eric Boone saying, I'm not first team all defense for nothing.
Right.
Look out behind you. One more time, look at this chase down. Just an incredible leap. And he's got some jumps, and he knows how to use them on offense and defense.
Stitt picked up that last foul for Delaware State. Long 3 from the jumper, a little long. Maltsby, correction, that'll be Bacon battling underneath for the ball, but it went off the hands of Khyrie Staten. He had 13 points. That is Staten the first time these two teams met this season, and only 4 the second meeting. This time, Butts buries the 3.
And the transfer from Louisiana, the former Ragin' Cajun, Devin Butts, and Coach Moulton shaking up the lineups already early on. Devin Butts didn't make a lot of appearances. Devin Gordon didn't make a lot of appearances either, and they're into this game early.
When you're talking about Devin Butts out of Macon, Georgia, started his career at Louisiana, and then went to Mississippi State. In the corner, once again, the 3 ball is short, and Stone with the rebound for Del State. 3-point ball game. In case you just joined us, earlier tonight, it was Howard University, a big win over their rival, 91-55. They beat South Carolina State to advance to Friday's semifinal. Going in strong, putting it off the glass, no good. And Medley Bacon couldn't finish it off. It was Fred Cleveland that had the wide open shot, but it left it a little short.
And this Eagle team has been getting some looks in transition, the way that they like to play. They like to go fast. They like to get to the rim as quickly as they can. And if they're not doing that, they're going to slow it down and take as much time out of the game as possible.
Butts in the lineup. Also, Cameron Butler has checked in now. Cameron out of Chicago, Illinois. Medley Bacon on the sideline for a moment. Across, and then we're going to get a charge. Player control foul. On the pass off from Perkins, he just ran over a defender, and that defender happened to be Cleveland.
Yeah, Devin Gordon standing firm and taking the charge on defense. We're talking about Chicago, a tandem of players for North Carolina Central from the Windy City out there. Fred Cleveland, along with Cameron Butler. And Cleveland, another transfer for North Carolina Central. It's a rare case where he transferred from the rival institution of North Carolina A&T and now is playing in Durham.
A natural rivalry, right? Down the lane, no good, with the offensive rebound by Gordon and a blocking foul. And Martez Robinson, the sophomore from Owens Mills, Maryland, number 10 scorer in the conference, has fouled out of 5 games this year. You know, when you look at teams having a lot of players foul out, a lot of that are teams who are struggling with wins.
Yeah, you never want to have a player get disqualified out of the game. You want to stay in and stay eligible for as long as possible. And a lot of times when you foul out of games, you're in situations where you're chasing the game and you're playing yourself into bad defensive positions, or you're just making frustrated plays on offense and pushing the envelope where you should.
So Jadarius Harris will come in, and he'll give Justin Wright a breather for Lavelle Moden's Central team. The lead is 5, 14-9 for the Eagles. Remember, Delaware State led this game 5-0. And this goes off of the hands of Gordon.
A nice hesitation move by Staten. Coming up the floor full speed, slowed down, waited for the defender to shift his momentum and shift his weight, and blew right by him, getting down to the low post.
In the first half here. Move in the lane, back outside. Here'll be the long jumper, and that goes in and out for Parker. This long jumper, the 3 from Butts, doesn't fall. 2019-20, Butts was at Mississippi State. He was injured, played just 6 games and averaged 3.5 minutes. But then the following season, 2020-21, at Louisiana, started 2 games, averaged 6.4 points per contest, 2 rebounds, scored in double figures in 5 games, and had a career high of 22 points against Texas State. Right now, coming in 4.7 points a game for North Carolina Central in this 5-point ball game here. From way downtown, short, and it'll go down to North Carolina Central.
The Eagles on a 9-0 run, but have missed
a lot of
handful of their last few shots. Yeah, they're one of their last 7. They're just finding a way to just grit their way through it.
In and out for Cleveland. Stone with rebound. Stone down the lane, puts it up, foul, and 1. Brandon Stone, the senior out of Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, started his career at Robert Morris and then went to LaSalle, and he's a marketing major. He was at Robert Morris last year, and he averaged 6 points, and he's going to the free throw line when we come back. He's only been there 5 times this year and made 3. That's a 60% shooting percentage. 3-point play. And the shot is good. And it's a 2-point ball game. 11:35 to go. We're in the first half. North Carolina Central comes in 17-11, 10-4, 7-game winning streak. Delaware State 6-23, 4-10. But when you look back at Delaware State from a year ago, JD, they only won 2 games all season long. They were 0-14 against conference teams.
Yeah, and they gave everybody everything they can handle. You looked at that record and you thought, man, that wasn't that great of a team. You don't understand the athletes that they had. You got guys out there like L.J. Stanberry, John Stanberry, just a fantastic guy. And the last time that these two teams met last year, it was the 3rd time they had met in the season. That game went to overtime, and it took Justin Wright scoring 32 points and hitting a contested fall-away 3 with 3 seconds left to push it to overtime. So this Delaware State team, they're better than face value. You don't think, if you underestimate this team, you're looking at a loss.
Yeah. No, you can't, you never underestimate anybody, no matter how poorly they're playing. Medley Bacon back inside, misses the chippy, and Stone grabbed the rebound. Inside. Turn around, move. A little bit too hard that time. But at the other end, Butts will make that correction. That's Boone with that basket.
Eric Boone with the big crossover on the wing. Realized he had an open lane to the bucket. Took it right in. Finished with the left hand, academic.
A little matchup zone defense being played by North Carolina Central. And that 3-ball not falling that time for Okoye Parker, senior from Wilmington, Delaware. Down the lane.
Yeah, Boone's
nice move. Nice move by Eric Boone.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's got a game-high 7 now, 3 for 4 from the floor, plus the 3-pointer. And if he can get going and the rest of the team gets going, watch out.
He made the all-defensive team for the MEAC this year, ranked 2nd in the conference in assists, 1st in assist-to-turnover ratio. As Munez, remember I mentioned him earlier, he's in the lineup now for Delaware State. Coach Waterman, the short jumper, just off the mark that time for Parker.
And Devin Gordon fighting his way through and wins the foul on the rebound attempt.
So Stone picks up the foul. Stone out of Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, team's number 2 scorer. He had 7 points the first time these two teams met, and 6 the second. So far in this game, he has 3 points. 1 at the free throw line. Stone out of Scottsdale, Pennsylvania, team's number 2 scorer. He had 7 points the first time these two teams met, and 6 the second. So far in this game, he has 3 points. 1 at the free throw line. Medley Bacon, double team, puts it up, and 1.
There's the flex that we've seen from Medley Bacon all year long. He's got some nice moves in the paint. I was watching him, and he started to show us that reverse pivot at the tail end of the season. I was looking to see if he might go for that, but instead, just textbook. Fade to the left shoulder, come back, right hand hook, 2 points, plus give me the free throw.
Yeah, Somerville and Staten trying to box him in, but it didn't work. And the history major, we're talking about Medley Bacon out of Baltimore, Maryland. Coppin State, 3rd team All MEAC in 2020. 4-time Defensive Player of the Week. Also at Virginia Commonwealth, he averaged 3.2 points per contest.
And he's just been a defensive force everywhere that he's gone during his college career.
9-point lead now. Maltsby, he'll take it all away. Fake the pass to Boone and just went in by himself.
And Nobody beats the biz. Marquis getting fly like an eagle here in the first half.
You know, again, this is one of those teams that we spoke in an earlier game about how young South Carolina State is. Just the opposite here with North Carolina Central. He's getting covered maybe bare after this season unless he's got somebody sitting in reserve, a whole bunch of people. And that's a hell ball. Possession arrow will favor North Carolina Central.
You talk about the roster composition for the Eagles. Coach Moten a few years ago talked about that he has to recruit this way to compete within the league. As we talked about for the other squads, for Howard and for South Carolina State, the transfers that are coming in. These coaches everywhere, up and down the league, have been able to bring in game-changing transfers. You look at Coppin State with them bringing in Sam Sessoms.
Yes.
What he's been able to do. So if you want to be able to compete with the rest of the league, you have to go get these big-name transfers whenever you can.
And plus now with the transfer portal as wide open as it is, it makes it so much easier for these young men and ladies, regardless of which, side you're talking on, to make that transition. And all you have to do is say, I don't like the coach. This isn't working out for me. And, that's why I always say coaches need to have, if they want a young man, let's say from your area, and you really want him, and he's a high-profile player, and he's going to go to a Power 5 school, but things may not work out for you. As you look at Coach Waterman on the opposite side, head coach of the Delaware State Hornets, second year, had a great high school career as a coach in the state of Delaware. Coached at Sanford School, won his state title, actually won 8 state titles up there in Delaware, including the previous 2 before last season, 2019 and 21.
Great, I think, is almost an understatement. You got to pick in a superlative that might not exist to talk about how he was so good as a high school coach.
Khyrie Staten with that basket for the Hornets.
And you look at, the players that he's brought in with Staten. The change is going to come for Delaware State. Yeah, they won 2 games last year. This season, they won 6. They're improving. The change is going to come for Delaware State. It's on the way.
Yeah, they didn't win any conference games last year. They were 0-14. They did win 4 this season. Sessoms of Howard of Coppin State, Elijah Hawkins of Howard, Isaiah Burke of Morgan, Chris Bankston, and Joe Bryant of Norfolk State.
And it's
goaltending.
It's hard to find a place to get in between those 5 guys. I mean, that is the class of the conference right there.
Well, it was so interesting because I was on a call with the conference office a couple of weeks ago. We had a show called Countdown to Championships, and it was about winter sports. We were talking about basketball, bowling, and track and field. And one of the people that was, I thought, a shoe-in possibly, other than Joe Bryant for Player of the Year, was Sam Sessoms over at Coppin State. But Joe Bryant repeats as we get the 3. That one comes off the hands of Justin Wright.
And, it comes down to voting, and I think, Joe Bryant has the resume as the 3s trade back and forth here. That triple made there by Cameron Stick.
Let's go over to Ramona. Ramona, what do you have for us?
Yes, listening to Coach Waterman for Delaware State, he talked about we need to do a better job of setting screens to create shot opportunities. And he also talked about the importance of talking and communicating out there on the court, and they also need to get rebounds, as well as reminding his players that North Carolina Central plays a very aggressive defense. So stop complaining, get out there, and just be ready and take the bumps. Back to you, Charlie and Jonathan.
One of the things you talked about rebounding, North Carolina Central has a 6th rebound edge right now in the contest. So that's very important when you talk about rebounding. And we know that you have to be able to crash the boards in terms of offensive and defensive rebounds. And North Carolina Central, out of the 16 rebounds they have, that's 12 on the defensive boards. That means there's no second chance points.
Right, and it's not just that. They're getting their own second chance points with 4 offensive rebounds as well. That's what I was talking about in the keys to the game. Delaware State just has to find a way to stop North Carolina Central from eating in the paint, but it's hard to stop Medley Bacon.
Yeah, he was hungry. He had a steak in that paint that time, didn't he? 29-19. 10-point lead now for the Eagles. Starting to pull away with 6:10 to go in the first half. Off the mark, rebound by Wright. Justin Wright brings it up the floor. Justin Wright down the lane, spins, turns, puts it up. No good, off the iron. Robinson with the rebound. Inside to Stone. Stone turns, spins, put the one-hander up, and the follow inside that time. Nice move by Stitt, Cameron Stitt.
And the Hornets hanging around. North Carolina Central it's a game where it feels like the Eagles are in control, but the Hornets just aren't going to leave easily.
The only time that Delaware State has won a MEAC tournament was 2005. So Devin Gordon makes it a 10-point lead again, 31-21. Talked about that win back in 2005. They were preseason picked. They were tied with South Carolina State to be the number 7 seed, or 17 coming into the season, and they wound up as the number 7 seed coming into the tournament.
And you can win from anywhere in this league. North Carolina Central won it from the 6 a few years ago. We've seen teams win from that number 7 seed. Of course, now there's just the 8 now, down from the 13. Back when it was, tougher to win when you were 6 or 7, having to play 5 games, or rather 4 games in 5 days.
Made a difference, didn't it?
Yeah, but now with fewer teams, fewer games to play, it's wide open all the time. And the parity in this league has just come closer and closer together. You've had some leagues you can look and you see that one team is far above the better, far above the team that has the fewest wins in conference. But over the years, the teams have gotten better at recruiting and getting closer together, and have just been very impressive to see.
Khyrie Staten with that last basket, making it a 31-22 as he makes one of 2 free throws. Khyrie Staten out of Baltimore, Maryland, sports management major. Inside, Medley Bacon. Medley Bacon, double team, puts it on the floor, and it goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Delaware State ball. The Hornets will take possession right now. Delaware State came in averaging 64 points per game, while North Carolina Central came in averaging 75 points per game. And when you talk about the number 1 scoring team in the conference, Norfolk State holds that distinction with 76 points a game. North Carolina Central is the number 1 rebounding team in the conference with 35 rebounds a game.
And North Carolina Central also the top team in scoring margin, the top 30 in the nation. They've won their games by an average of 9.6 points.
Norfolk is number 1 in 4 categories as a team. Scoring, field goal percentage, attendance, and they're tied with North Carolina Central. That is for defensive rebounding, averaging 24 rebounds on the defensive boards, and it's evident by what we talked about earlier here, avoiding a team getting second chance points. Shot clock at 7 seconds right now. Turnover, Medley Bacon gets it off Maltsby, almost had it, going in. Nice high basket by Staten. Staten saw Medley Bacon coming. He said, no, you're not going to get this one. I put it up so high. By the time you get up here,
that is
we'll be in the stratosphere.
That's a rainmaker floater right there.
7-point game. Maltsby